Welcome to Chasing Truth. Today we're going to tackle a really super controversial subject, human sexuality. So I've entitled it Sexuality, to speak or not to speak. That's a big issue today, to speak or not to speak. It's so controversial and people are so up in arms about this. You got to be really super careful about what you're going to say because there's a lot at stake. Think about that. If you differ with the state's view on human sexuality, you could be in for a legal nightmare in your business. Think of the cake baker here in Colorado and what he's been through the last several years because he chose to take a stand on his view of human sexuality. It almost cost him his business. It went all the way to the Supreme Court, as you will know. Think about your academic life. If you speak out and your views are different than what is accepted, what happens to you in terms of your academic life? And then you have your employment as well. And that's right, your employment is at risk depending on whether you speak out on this issue or remain silent. What about your own child or children? Think about what it could cost you as it relates to your own children. We're going to get into that in just a minute. So I have some questions here that I want to follow up on. And this is very important for us. First question is, who should have the right to teach their children about human sexuality? The state or the parents? Who has the right? Who has the authority? Think through this for a minute because your answer is going to really determine the social outcomes of your family units. Who has the right to teach children about human sexuality? The state or the parent? Is the public school system a parental entity, or is it a state agency? Now, as you think through that, that's important too to sort out. Who represents you? The public school system? The state? Or nobody? Maybe the church represents you. But when you think about it, as a parent, I think if you're like me, it's our right. It's our responsibility to teach our children about human sexuality. Here's another question. Can the state and the school system impose their views of sexuality on your children regardless of your views or rights as parents? And what happens if you disagree with them? Let me give you an example. What would you do if your 10-year-old daughter came home to you and announced to you that she was a boy and that she wanted you to call her Timothy from here on out? What are you going to do? I mean, this is so alarming, but it's happening more and more and more. You might think, well, this is going to pass. You know, she'll get over it and everything's going to be okay. But what happens if it doesn't? In fact, what happens if you discover that her teachers at school are supporting her gender choice to identify as a boy, and that they're already calling her Timothy, and that they're using male pronouns when addressing her, and that they're requiring other students to call her Timothy and to use male pronouns when addressing her? What do you do about that? What do you do when you try to gain the support of your school in refraining from doing this, in terms of saying, look, I don't want you to do this. She's a girl, and her name isn't Timothy. What do you do when you go to your school to get support, and they turn and say, actually, you're wrong. She has every right to choose her own gender, and you need to support that. What do you do when your school and the social workers and the counselors are all saying, look, you need to not only support her, but help her in this transition. And if you don't, it's a form of child abuse. What do you do when they threaten that if you don't give them the medical assistance they need to make a gender transition, you risk losing them as your child? That's a big deal. So what's a parent to do? Submit to your new masters, the public school system, the state, the medical professionals? What happens when you don't? The bigger question is how did we even come and arrive at the place that we're at today? how did this happen? It seemed like it happened overnight when you think about it, right? So what can you do? What can we do at this point to protect our children? So here's some answers. Get informed. Discover the truth of the matter. You might say, well, where do I go to get the truth about human sexuality and gender issues? I would say go to the words of the Creator, the one who created us in His image, male and female. Go to the one who created all things seen and unseen. I think the designer, the one who created us, has some answers for us as it relates to gender. So go to the scriptures and also go to the natural record. In our Declaration of Independence, it's referred to as the law of God and the law of nature. The law of nature and nature's God. And that's a reference to the scriptures and to what we can deduce as facts from nature itself. Yeah, a little common sense goes a long way. And common sense is self-evident. And when you begin to employ the scriptures as your standard of truth and the facts of nature as your standard of truth and a little common sense, you're going to see this for what it is, and you're going to be able to sort it out. That's where we begin. The next thing is join a Bible-believing church. You will never win this battle for your children's sexual health alone. You'll never win this battle alone. You will not win it as a homeschooler either. You're going to need a network of Bible-believing churches who have the money and legal resources to fight this battle. Now, if you're a church and you're listening in, here's a great website that you can go to that has tremendous resources to help your church in this fight over our children's sexuality, over their future happiness. It's adfchurchalliance.org. That's adfchurchalliance.org. For medical professionals and counselors, here's a website you can go to. It's called therapeuticchoice.com. Therapeuticchoice.com. It's the Alliance for Therapeutic Choice and Scientific Integrity. Listen to their description. They are a multidisciplinary professional and scientific organization dedicated to preserving the right of individuals to obtain the services of a therapist who honors their values, advocating for integrity and objectivity in social science research, and ensuring that competent, licensed professional assistance is available for persons who are experiencing unwanted homosexual attractions. What about theology? I would start with askdrbrown.org. That's askdrbrown.org. He has a lot of resources in terms of the theology behind gender. And there's more resources to come. I'm going to talk about this subject matter over the next couple months, and I will give you more resources as we go. So, in conclusion, the assault on our sexuality and on our religious liberties and parental rights has come. And it's no longer about intimidating and coercing you to accept this dangerous and devastating immoral sexual agenda. They are now coming for your children. Hello? Are you listening? They're coming for your children. This is astonishing in every way. It's time to get informed. It's time to join a Bible-believing church. It's time to join political parties that stand for traditional family values and rights. You will never win this battle alone. Together, we can push this darkness back into its closet where it belongs. Well, that's it. Thanks for chasing truth with me on this controversial matter. Please subscribe to this channel, comment below, and check out all of our social media sites at Grafted In.